Ang ayaw ko kasi yung patagalan. So itong red tape, it will really, well, call your attention that you are not serving the people. Papaalis na kasi ako. Yung masakit sa akin yung saan ituro. You have to go to the NBI, then you have to go to the BIR, then you have to go to... Alam mo, dito sa Maynila, traffic alone, even with the advent of these elevated highways, it's not enough really to make a great impact on the lives of the people of Manila and of the Philippines. Kaya kulang pa rin. Ang migrant workers hindi pwede walang pera yan. And it is very tiring because they have no private cars, they have to travel public conveyances, and then they cannot complete the papers. Pabalik-balik. Yan ang ayaw ko. Yung pabalik-balik. Come back tomorrow for this. Pagdating doon, meron pa naman bago. Yan ang gusto ko magmura. I am on my way out. Dadaling ko kayo paglabas ko sa gobyerno, kayong mga either you follow what I want. It's not yours. It's mine. It's my call. It is the executive department and I am the head of that department. Dito sa executive department, isa lang ang tao. Isa lang ang tigas dito. Ako. Sundin na yung gusto ko. Kayo, better do the things that I want to improve the service of government or else mayroon tayong away. I am sure I do not want to quarrel. Masama pa naman yung bunganga ko. But you know, I have fired 6 cabinet members. Hindi lang ninyo alam. Along the way, in my journey for 6 years, 6 cabinet members lost their jobs. I fired them. Kaya yung mga tamad, kung ayaw niya magtrabaho, anak ka ng, o either mag-away tayo, gusto mo magbarilan tayo,
The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. An alleged audio recording of Camarines Sur 2nd District Representative El Rey Villafuerte supposedly instructing trolls to create disinformation against Vice President Leni Robredo has been making rounds online. The audio recording was first posted on Reddit and was soon shared on various social media platforms. Villafuerte has denied that it was his voice. Instead, he blamed the incident on political foes, saying they are using deep fake technology to tarnish his reputation. He added that he has referred the incident to the NBI for investigation. Meanwhile, the PNP task force for the 2022 election says intense political rivalries and the presence of political private armed groups could place an area under red alert. Speaking to One News, the big story, PNP Deputy Chief of Operations Ferdinand Divina said an area can also be placed under the red category if there's also a presence of local terrorist groups in these places. For now, over 100 areas have been classified by authorities as areas of concern. The PNP assures the public that they are closely monitoring potential private armed groups in these hotly contested areas.
We refer to them as validated private armed groups. Of course, pag naubos na namin po ito, those listed as criminal gangs can be transformed as potential thugs based on the promise of reward or money being given for purposes of employment as private armed groups. But we are closely monitoring this, both covertly and overtly.
Presidential candidate Faisal Mangondato claims that shifting to a federal system of government can solve many of the nation's problems. In an interview to Chief, the presidential bet vowed to push for constitutional changes if he wins. Mangundato said the current government system is too complicated, that local leaders can't do what needs to be done to improve their jurisdictions. He added that under a federal system, all regions would develop faster as their leaders would have the funds and the power to make big changes in their areas.
Isusulong po namin yung sistemang federalismo na ang gobyerno na mismo ang lalapit sa mga tao. Sa lumang sistema ay parang polluted na po at buhol po ang ating gobyerno sa ngayon. Layunin namin na isulong ang panibagong sistema at kaayusan dahil po sa ilang dekada na po na ang unitarian system ay hindi po mangyari na magkaroon ng solusyon lubos sa mga pagkukulang ng gobyerno at pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan Pilipino.
The Philippine Business for Education says Vice President Leni Robredo has the best plans to improve the country's educational system. PBED's Executive Director Love Basiliote tells One News, the chiefs, that based on recent debates and interviews, Robredo has the best platform to address the learning gap in the country. Basiliote, meanwhile, ranked survey front-runner Bongbong Marcos as one of the lowest, as his platform only focused on accessibility to education. The group notes that quality education is one of the main concerns of the country and not just access to education.
Yung debates naman, merong mga hindi nag-attend, so wala silang grado sa rating namin. But yeah, in terms of the presidential candidates, si Leni Robredo yung pinakamataas na score. For Leni Robredo, she talked about not just the learning crisis, but also about employability. And that's why, and also access to nutrition. And so she scored really high. For Ping Lacson, he did talk about the importance of on-the-job training, of working with the private sector. And so we also liked that about his platform. Same with Isko, what he did in Manila, providing schools and also wrap around costs or like scholarships to people in Manila. We also rated him well there.
Canadian singer-songwriter Shawn Mendes reveals his latest song, When You're Gone, is inspired by his breakup with singer Camila Cabello. Let's watch this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really just like me processing a breakup, me processing losing somebody that was what so much of my world was surrounded by. And it's just me trying to be candid and real with people, because ultimately that's the only way I'm ever going to connect with people, is if I'm being real with myself, you know? I think I went through a period of freedom, and then I went through a period of fear, and then I came back around to find freedom again. And that was a huge lesson in itself, is that fear is not the way this is going to work. And so coming back around to freedom and trust has been a huge one for me. I wish I could say I had the control over that, but sometimes you get caught up and sometimes you step outside of yourself. Nobody really has control over that stuff, you know? This time around, things were confusing because COVID, and we had to move the first half of the tour to the back of the tour. And so it was really just trying to make things work around what the way the world was kind of being in the moment, you know? So yeah, it's a long tour though. I think we're out there, we've like over 100 shows worldwide, and I'm dying to start.
Does that mean that we'll see another appearance at the Met Gala?
We'll have to see. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say, but there's good chance.
Now here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. President Duterte warns stakeholders of Isabong that he will stop its operations as some bettors are already pawning away their properties to support their vice. The PNP has identified at least 120 areas of concern for the 2022 elections. And the Ateneo Blue Eagles remain undefeated while the UP Fighting Maroons claim the solo second spot in the UAAP Season 84 men's basketball tournament. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again at 11 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.